Sunday session. So this one's going to be kind of almost a shorter one than previous ones have been. I'm going to stick on a record and pour a whiskey. So the record that we're going to go with today is Coco Sugar by Young Fathers. They're a great band from Edinburgh. They've been going for a wee while now. This is their third full-length album, along with a couple of mixtapes that they released before. This is an absolutely fantastic record, and it's got a brilliant, I want to say it was like a single off the album called Toy, which gets used as the theme tune for View from the Terrace, which is an amazing BBC Scotland show about Scottish football. If you're into football at all, you should definitely watch it. It's amazing. But also, even if you're not into football, they do some amazing little vignettes talking about different aspects of the game, and they are just so artfully and tastefully done. You should definitely check that out. I think it's all on iPlayer just now. It's called A View from the Terrace, the films. I think you can check that out on iPlayer. You should. So yeah, I'm going to go stick this on, and then we'll talk about what whiskey we're going to be drinking today. Alright, so I got that started up. The whiskey we're going to be looking at today is another one from the Scotch Malt Whisky Society. This one is called Spicy as Hell, Tasty as Well. It is a Highland whiskey, it's 10 years old, and I bought this because my grandmother likes robust flavours. Nothing too overpowering in terms of like smoke or sweetness, but robust, and this covers that. I kind of got into it before I had a chance to take it out to her, so yeah, this one just became for me. So yeah, we'll pour this one. So yeah, cheers. So today we're going to be talking about films. Before I get into the films though, I'd like to just talk about some things that I've been doing and things that I've got coming up this week. I've not done much, however I have been journaling, and I cannot stress enough just how good that has been for me. I have absolutely loved doing it, and I had a really intense prompt yesterday, which was how does your parents' reactions to your choices affect how you feel? Oof. Oh, I tell you what, getting into that was not fun, but so rewarding, and I felt really, really good at the end of it. And one of the kind of big things that I learned at the end of writing this out that maybe I hadn't realised before was that when I was doing the things that I thought I needed to do in order to impress my parents, things like working in the bank, trying to save and going for meetings with the bank for mortgages and things like that, I was pretty unhappy, and I found that I've become much more happy since I stopped. Since I became self-employed, become a tour guide, started doing stand-up, doing the things that I wanted to do, I found that my relationship with my parents has become a lot... I mean, to say that it's got better implies that it was bad to begin with, but it definitely feels like we get on better, that I don't feel that I'm constantly trying to impress them. So yeah, really intense one to write down. I'm not going to lie and say that there was no emotions going through me at the time, but yeah, definitely feel a lot better now. So yeah, that's one of the things that I have been doing. And one of the things I've got coming up is this week I'm going to be recording and submitting a short spot for the Stands live stream, which goes out on a Saturday night. Hopefully it makes a cut, hopefully it gets in. I'm feeling pretty confident about the material that I've decided to go with. So yeah, hopefully on Saturday of next week you'll be able to see that. I've also started using Instagram a lot more. Not in terms of like posting pictures, but on my stories. So if you want to follow me on Insta, then that's at Angus Maroon. Anyway, we are going to be talking about films. Like I did with books a few weeks back, I want to talk about my favourite films. Now, I don't own all of my favourite films. So I don't want to spend this one talking about films that I can't physically show you. So instead, I'm going to show you the 5 that are my favourites in my collection. Okay, I'm going to start with an absolute classic. I'm fairly certain this is going to be incredibly uncontroversial, but Star Wars. A New Hope. I'm using A New Hope here, the first Star Wars to be released, more than any of the others because it was the one that kind of gets everyone into it. Probably prefer Return of the Jedi. And you know what? I actually really enjoyed The Force Awakens as well. I think Rian Johnson's kind of middle one of the most recent series. That one gets a lot of stick, but of the 3 newer ones that have just come out, I think it's probably the strongest. But yeah, I love Star Wars. Star Wars is amazing. I feel it's the greatest story of good and evil ever told. Second being Harry Potter. I guess if you're of a religious mind, then maybe you'd say the Bible as well could be up there as well. But no, Star Wars better than all the rest. Next up, biopic, but one of the most inspirational human beings to ever live, and that is Milk. Sean Penn won the Oscar, of course, for this. Harvey Milk, one of the most inspirational figures in all of the world, become the first openly gay elected official in the United States. It's an incredible piece. Not just that, the fact that it's a true story and how he went out in the end as well is, it's a really, really, really powerful piece. Third up, Goodfellas. You see The Irishman? I liked it. I watched it in a wonder. I had to go down to Shipley in Yorkshire for work not too long ago, just after The Irishman came out actually. And I decided that on the 3.5-hour train journey that I had, I was going to watch The Irishman in its entirety. And it made the time pass by quite quickly. And I loved it. I was telling everyone how much I enjoyed it. And then, shortly after that, I went to the States. And I downloaded Goodfellas to re-watch. And I realised that this is how you do what The Irishman tried to do. Like, you could see what Scorsese was trying to do, The Irishman. He was trying to make something like this again. It's nowhere near as good, is it? This is brilliant. Strongly recommend it. If you've not seen Goodfellas, check it out. If you've not seen The Irishman, still give it a bash. It's not bad, but in terms of pacing and storytelling, Goodfellas is the high watermark. Okay, now we're going to get to 2 that I would class as my favourite films. I've got 2 films that if someone asked me, what's your favourite film? That I would answer, depending on my mood at the time. Neither are probably my actual favourite film, because that changes depending on my mood, depending on the day, depending on a whole bunch of other factors, who I'm speaking to. But there's 2 that I will always go to and say just as my snap answer, First one is Evil Dead 2. This was when Sam Raimi, I think, really hit his stride. When he started to incorporate more humour into his horror. When he looked to storytell more, get deeper into that, and I think he gets one of the best performances out of Bruce Campbell as well, who is one of my favourite actors of all time. The first Evil Dead is like a straight horror, and this one's got so much kind of goofy shit going on in it that I'm a big fan of this. I remember I was on a scout camp once, and we were in Glen Shee, I think, and we had rooms, we had a hotel almost type thing that we were staying in, and it was on one night along with another film called Surf Nazis Must Die, which I've not seen since, but I'm sure it's got a huge cult following, so I'm sure someone will talk to me about that. I was terrified of this film. I was young at the time, I'm still not great with horror, and it affected me. And then a few years later, I turned 21, and I started getting more and more into horror, and I came back to it, and I found that all 3 Evil Dead films are brilliant, and there's so much that's been taken from them in modern horror. In fact, The Cabin in the Woods, which was this very meta horror film that made fun of a lot of horror tropes, quite a lot of stuff that comes out of them come from this. So if you've not seen Evil Dead 2, watch it. If you've seen the first Evil Dead and then you watch this one, you might find that the first 25 minutes of it are really similar, because it kind of just rehashes what happened in the first film, but not as like a flashback, it just does it again. So the first 25 minutes is almost a remake, recap of the first Evil Dead film. So strongly recommend that. The last one is probably the best film ever made. That is Fargo. I can't say enough good things about the film version of Fargo. It is so good. There are some incredible performances in it. Franny McDormand is the lead, and she is amazing. William H. Macy doing his weird Minnesota accent. Steve Buscemi and Peter Stormare all put in world-class performances in this. It's a great story, beautiful settings. It's brilliant, yeah. Strong recommend. But one of my favourite things about this as well is at the start of it, they were like the Coen brothers, when they made this, they put up a black screen with the words on it saying the following is based on true events, out of respect for the I think out of respect for the living, the names have been changed. Out of respect for the dead, everything else is told exactly as it happened. And it's not a true story. It was just done like that to try and add some more intrigue to the film, and it really worked. Worked to the point actually that somebody went out to North Dakota and started digging in the snow looking for the money, and died. So yeah, that's cheery. Got a bonus as well for you. This is something that's in my collection. It's probably not in too many people's collections, but this one is very special to me. This is Elegies by Machine Head. It's a live DVD chronicling them on their Through the Ashes of Empire tour with a live performance in London, but there's also a little part of it that's called The Fans. And in The Fans, it goes through the different people that they've met on their way, how they've reacted to the band when they've interacted with them. And one of those people, back in 2004, was me. The entire thing's on YouTube. I've put a little link down below in the description, and if you skip to 1 hour and 8 minutes, you will see me very young, very drunk, talking absolute nonsense about the distance between Inverness and Glasgow. I say I'm like 400 miles from home. It's about 150 actually, but still, if you want to check that out, you should. Guys, I feel like this has been quite a short one where not much has really gone on in it, but I hope you've enjoyed yourselves. I'll be back next Sunday. I'll probably do another cover of a pop punk song somewhere in the week as well. Hope you guys take it easy. Hope you're all staying safe and staying sane throughout all this. Thank you very much for watching again. Give me a little thumbs up if you enjoy it. If you didn't like it, go fuck yourself. Thank you very much. Bye.